Hi, I'm Jim.
I'm Brenda.
We're Hardiness Approach.
Today you find us in the same setting we were on the last video because it's a quiet place for us to video and we need to do this.
So, the next part of our journey.
The next part of our journey has to do with why we're where we are right now. We live in a small town, as many of our homesteading friends do live in small towns. And that's where we were at when we discovered all of this. And it wasn't until we met a friend who said, if you've got cancer, get out to Salt Lake, to the Huntsman Cancer Institute. And we've known about the Huntsman Cancer Institute because we used to live in Utah. I worked at the University of Utah for a while, but I'd never been in the building, which is where we're sitting right now, by the way. So what we'd like to do first is start by talking about our experience when we went with our doctor, urologist, in our small town, telling us that we had cancer. Do you remember that?
I remember it very clearly.
You want to talk about it?
You're catching me off guard. This is hard. Okay. We have a great doctor, not the urologist, but just our normal doctor who watches over us. And
she's actually an NP.
yeah, she's an NP. So, but very involved, very personable, and very astute. And so, despite there having been no surveillance for what, 5 years for me, with the PSA level being high, as soon as she looked at the information, she said, okay, of the many things that we need to do, one of them is we need to do a PSA for you, just to see where you are. Well, it comes back high. She says, we're going to have to do something about this. Immediately, there's a referral to the urologist. And, not somebody we knew, but as I did some research for what was in our area, what was available in the way of urologists, he, review-wise, had good reviews and so forth. So it was a good choice, one of the better choices for us to make there. And we, immediately, what we were relieved by is instead of just wanting to do another biopsy immediately, he says, we're really going to have to do an MRI because the needles are small, and they, compared to the surface area of the prostate, no matter how many needle sticks you get, there's a high likelihood that if there is something there in the way of cancer, it's going to be missed because it can be very, very small. So most likely they're going to miss, and that's probably what happened the first time. And what we want to do is have an MRI to see if there is anything there. If there's not, another story, but if there is, then we're going to know where it is. And if we need to do a biopsy because of that, then we'll know very specifically where to go, and I probably won't need to do as many needle sticks to get the samples that we need.
So we appreciated that.
And that was great. So,
and his nurse knew how much we wanted to get this biopsy done, so she actually got some cancellations and called us and got us in 10 days before we would have been in. So that was
really sped up the process.
Really nice.
In our state of anxiety, I'll just say it that way because it sounds milder than how much we were freaking out. It was good to move things up that many days. The biopsy experience, I don't know if there's any way that can be made pleasant. I'm sorry, it's not pleasant.
Well, I don't think the doctor we're with now, he said it's just really unpleasant.
Yeah, that's what
like,
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's, and I wasn't in there, so.
and the aftermath is not
pleasant.
There wasn't pain afterwards. I mean, it was over. When it was over, it was over.
There's blood, though.
Lots of blood.
Lots of blood.
We knew from what we could see on the portal, what the doctor was going to be able to talk about. And we were in his office 15 minutes
Total.
for the consultation. And all I want to say is that the options were...
Let me tell this part.
You tell this.
It's interesting because I was looking at another thing on YouTube and they said, this is what's typical for the urologist to tell you. And when I looked at each other, I'm like, whoa, that's exactly what happened. So he comes in, he goes, so you have cancer. And these are your options. You can have it taken out or you can have radiation. That's all. And then okay, so some of this is gonna get really personal, okay? So then he said, are you sexually active? And he said, yes. And he goes,
Hopefully they don't ban this video with you talking about these things.
and he said, well, you're not gonna be after the treatment. And that was it. We're like, okay, well, we already knew we wanted to come up here
We'd already made that
to
decision.
Huntsman. So we walked out of his office and we have not been back.
Well, we didn't
actually.
just walk out.
No,
They
but I mean,
finished
they
and
finished.
we wrapped everything up and we went knowing that, c'est la vie, we're not coming back.
So we came up here a week ago to Salt Lake and we're staying at our son's house. And you guys, I want to just tell you the difference of day and night of the care. First of all, I think the saddest thing that happened to Jim is he said, I felt like they treated me like an old man and like I was just a number to them and another thing to check off. And it doesn't matter if you're 95 and you have it, you should be treated with dignity and care.
Yeah.
So, we came here. We have been here a week and a couple days, and a day. And what we accomplished in that week was just astronomical. But our first visit with the urologist here was an hour long. They talked about, they wanted to find
They
out
talked about us.
us. They talked about us. And she wanted to give us help if we wanted to do radiation, so she set up a radiation consult. And she said, you know, I do the surgeries if you choose the surgery. So it's nothing, this is what you're gonna do. It's a shared thing of a shared decision.
A lot of education, a lot of questions and answers to be sure that we understand the full extent of what the situation is, what's possible, what they can do, and enough information that we're informed to make our own decisions about which direction we want to go.
Yeah. So yesterday, we met with the radiation team. We met with 4 different people over a 2-hour period. And the last over an hour, we were with the actual doctor who is one of the heads of the department here. But his specialty is prostate. That's what he does. That's all he does. And he knows it inside and out, and he knows everything. And so he kind of laid out this plan for us, and then we found out a few more things, and he asked about a lot of information that's very personal about your bladder and how you go and your sex life and how you go and use it, and because they want to make things best for you.
Yeah, he very,
You're not close.
we talked. He talked to us, a lot of questions, had us ask questions, explored more to where he got to know way past what we'd filled out on the forms, what they had found by the different tests that had been done, and what he learned has influenced what he's going to do as a treatment plan. I mean, it's not totally altered, but it's adjusted. And
And no treatment plan will be done unless we agree with it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not a doctor coming in and saying, this is what we're going to do with you.
Going down.
but despite how knowledgeable he is, he was able to talk on our level.
Oh,
But
goodness.
he also
So
made us feel
personal.
very comfortable and that we're in charge of what's going to happen. But from a very caring standpoint, and to where we felt like, as busy as he was, we were his only interest while he was there. In fact, I have 2 PET scans scheduled next week, and after the second one, he wants to meet with us. And his schedule is really full that day, but he said, when you're done, you come, and I want to meet with you to go over, I don't know
The
what it
results.
is, but the results of the PET scan, which he'll have access to.
PSMA PET scan.
Yeah, and we'll be able to talk more at that time, and he'll be able to educate us. We'll be able to be prepared better to make some decisions based on the results of the PSMA PET scan.
Say that 5 times fast. So one of the things that we were really impressed with is first a nurse came in, then a doctor came in with a person to take down scribe, and then he came in. All 3 of them asked him, what do you do for hobbies? What do you do for fun? They cared about the whole person,
Yeah.
and that was so impressive.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yep.
anything else to talk about? You need to tune back in because you'll get to hear the results of the PSMA PET scan.
That's the next step.
That's the next scan part, and that's what you want to be here for. That's what's going to tell whether it's metastasized or not and where we're going with this. So, hope we didn't bore you to death. Hopefully you're learning some things, and hopefully you can hear us because our lapel pat things weren't working on this video. So
Technology.
you
what
can't
can I
hear
say?
it right now. You'll be able to hear the next video better.
Hey, thanks for being part of this journey with us. Thanks for watching. See you later.